Hey, this is something I was going to do the day after I revealed my post-mortem. There was going to be like another day of like just continual, consistent uploads, but a testament to how drained and difficult the series became to create. I actually had to take a couple days off before doing this. I said it before, but if this show had 13 months in it, I don't think I would have been able to pull through. But we're here to do something more casual. I don't know how long this is going to be, maybe long, but I'm going to look at the comments. I'm going to talk to the comments. I didn't do that enough while making this series, and I'm so grateful people cared enough to comment. I don't know the quality of the comments because I haven't looked at them, but I saw them coming in. I want to talk to you guys, see what you guys had to say. I hope they're nice and fun, or else this will be much more depressing than I meant it to. I've pulled up my comments. I've scrolled all the way to the beginning, so these are the oldest comments. We're going to scroll up to the newest. We're not going to look at all of them because it took a lot of scrolling to get down here. And I don't want this video to be over an hour long, but yeah, let's see what you guys had to say. Excited for Depression Quest to win. The oldest comment I never responded to. And I'm so sorry that I didn't give you the finale you wanted, buddy. Oh my, we have two comments. One from Mew, one from Christmas Pterodactyl, riffing off the stupid Tetris video I made that was 8 seconds long. And in the middle of that, comment on the detention video. I feel like detention should have been higher. I think that's a really special game. Right under it, 3 weeks ago, I got detention for being tardy. 3 weeks ago, like right before Christmas break? What'd you do? Were you just like checked out because vacation was coming out? Or coming up, rather? Man, when Jason uploads a game review, you just know he's gonna be reviewing a game or something. It's not a review. These are not reviews. These are way too nice and vague and short to be reviews. Reviews can be short, but yeah, these are... I don't know what to call these. These are base TBH. That's what these are on the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Not what I would have expected to be getting support on. Thank you. Proudly Idiotic. I know we're going to be seeing your name a lot. Alright, now we get into something that I think is really awesome, even though it's super simple. Proudly Idiotic, for a while, would just comment a thumbs up on every single video, and I was so tempted to one day, like the last day of the show or something, go back to all of them and reply to every single one with a thumbs up of my own. And I probably could have. I think at some point they told me I could in one of their comments, but I just couldn't. This is so stupid. I know this is stupid. I couldn't get the thought out of my head that like I would finally like sit down to do it, and I'd just be like sending thumbs up for like 30 straight minutes replying to all their comments, and unbeknownst to me, they'd just be like sitting in the doctor's office talking to the doctor who says like, "I'm sorry, Mr. or Mrs. Idiotic, but it is leukemia, and there's not much we can do about it," while their phone is just like blowing up with stupid messages from me. A completely irrational, stupid fear. But let's pick a good one here. Let's do Fast RMX. That game doesn't get a lot of love. I don't think a lot of people know what that game is. Let's thumbs up times 200. Because that's about how many I owe you, I think. And then just in this sea of thumbs up and then just humor, just straight up constructive comment about the game. I really wish they kept the seamless battle transitions for Scarlet and Violet. Didn't know they got rid of those. I always thought Legends was, you know, it was the beta test. It was like version 1 of what they were going to do in the mainline games. And I know that didn't turn out to be super true, although it was true in some respects. But I liked a lot of what Legends brought. But I think there's another Legends coming out that I'm excited for. If they keep on whatever path this game started, I think I could end up being a straight-up Pokemon fan again with enough time passing. We're just gonna give that one a heart because I think that's in a good state of mind. And then we got one interruption in the thumbs up. I know the Switch era Mario sports games are not the most popular things in the world. In some ways I get it, in some ways I don't. But like I said in the video, I can play it with my brother. That trumps just about any game design criticism you could possibly have. Current record for how long it's taken for the title of the game to be said. that's crazy, and that's fascinating, and I'm a little upset at you because now I would like to know what game held that record in general throughout the whole thing. Probably game like 1 or something. It probably took me like 10 minutes to reveal the title of that game. Crazy that you were noticing or paying attention, but that's very cool. I'm gonna heart that. Oh my goodness, that's a big no. Someone doesn't like gotcha party game RPG things. For some reason I like these kinds of comments, this one and the one you did for the Mario Golf game, where it's just like it's a pure raw emotional reaction with no like context or like substance or like explanation of the emotion. It's just like, this is what I feel right now and I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I find that really endearing for some reason. Yesterday I didn't get nearly as much done as I'd hoped to. It was a pretty nothing day at school, and when I got home I couldn't bring myself to do anything useful. I ended up playing some Kuru in later, but soon after I just went to bed. Today I'm hoping to get done with some laundry, I might pick up food later, and I really want to make some progress on what I was supposed to work on yesterday. After this week I'll be on spring break, so if I can't get a lot done this week, I'll at least have those free days to fall back on. A friend of mine also just got back home from a vacation, so I can talk to them again as well. I figure once I get the ball rolling on doing things, I'll start smashing records. It's just really hard to start. Anyway, cool game. I agree. So I don't want any of you asking me ever again what Hawaii was doing shortly before their spring break. It's all laid out right here. It's riveting stuff. You should read it for yourself sometime. It says a lot that the game that cured your misogyny is only game 287. Okay. When I started reading that comment, I had no idea where you were getting that from, but now I remember what I said in the video about how I thought Animal Crossing was a dumb girl game. Understood now. I think that says a lot about the power of the video game medium. I don't actually want to bang my desk because that'll sound weird on the microphone. That the game can have such a powerful impact on me that it cures my sexist thoughts. And it's only the 287th greatest thing I've seen in the medium. That's just a testament to the power of what video games can do. Let's continue. I would actually love to earnestly read all of these out loud, but I don't know how many you wrote, so I don't know how much time that would take up. I'll make an effort to initiate stuff with more people soon enough. It's just really scary, dude. I've reached a point in my life, this is real, where I meet people, I like people, I'm getting to know people, and if I genuinely like someone, I will straight up tell them, hey, I really like you, I would like to continue the friendship, I just need you to know that I don't tend to reach out a lot, and it has nothing to do with you, it's just how I am, and I'd like to fix it one day, but it's not fixed right now. So if you ever want to reach out to me, please do. I will appreciate it. You never have to feel weird about reaching out to me. And that has been really successful thus far. Really successful. I would say 80% of the time people understand and do end up reaching out to me. I could have read the paragraph, and it probably would have taken less time than that conversation I just had. Moving on. Honestly hated that game, TBH. I get it. It's weird, like, short, artsy. Like, I get it. It's, not to put words in your mouth for why you hated it, but there are a lot of people who are just like, if the game's not fun, if the game doesn't have a lot of content, what's the point? And not saying that's where you're coming from at all. That's my way of illustrating that, like, you get a game like Limbo that you can beat in an hour and there's not really a ton going on. We'll never come down on that not being someone's cup of tea. Oh, great. Another paragraph. The sad thing is I genuinely love this. I wish every single one of my comments was just an essay on how your day went. But emotional ruts are the worst. Everyone has them sometimes. I find that I have them about once every 2 months where I just, no matter what I do, motivation escapes me. And in those times I've learned, I'd like to learn a better strategy, but for now I've learned to not fight it, to understand it's temporary, it will go away on its own, but I can't force it to go away, I can't force motivation to come back, so for now, I'll do what I can, even if that means like indulging in something hedonic. At least that means I will be less tempted to be hedonic in that way when my motivation comes back. But it's an imperfect solution. I'd like to work on that someday. No way, Astral Coconut. It is weird, if you know what Astral Coconut is, to know that Solar Ash is only 283, but is what it is. And oh, this game actually seems pretty cool. This game is really cool. It's called Astral Coconut. It's free on Steam right now. You can download it. Be sure to leave a positive review. It's great. It probably should have been like top 10, top 5, top 1, around there somewhere. Really high on Star Wars right now, huh? This is not hyperbole or like meant to just be dramatic. I always am. Your interests and your tastes kind of like ebb and flow. Some will leave you completely, some will disappear for like 10 years and then come back. Star Wars has never left me. It's probably the most consistent thing I love. I can't point to a time in my life, literally cannot point to a time in my life when I would not have called Star Wars one of my favorite things and talked about it passionately for hours. Yes, less villains. No More Heroes would have been a lot higher at a younger point in my life. And I have experience with 2, I just, it's been so long since I played it, and I got 3. For some reason it crashes all the time, so I never finished it. I'd like to replay this whole series one day. I need to. Mega 9 is one of my favorites too, but I never thought about the retroception, and now my mind is blown. Or should I say blasted? Yeah, I'm glad I sold it hard in the video, because it is one of my favorite things about 9. Is that it's almost as old as the distance between it and the game it was celebrating. I find that so fascinating. It's weird to talk about in this series because I want to stay positive, because part of the joy is like, hey, Mega Man 9 like had a really cool like progression system, and like the multiple characters was cool. Those are really neat modernizations, but also like so many instant death traps is such like a 2008 retro hard kind of decision to make. Really cool to see in retrospect, like you said. And yeah, Mega Man 12, like personally I would prefer Mega Man games to just keep being modern and be 3D and be as modern as possible, but if Mega Man 12 is like a retro throwback to Mega Man 9, and then 20 years from now we get to do the whole thing again, I'll take all the joy in that. That'd be great. Oh, okay, this guy just doesn't like Danganronpa. Well, apologies, you're gonna be seeing it quite a lot. Oh, then this person likes Danganronpa, so... The duality of man in that one. I'm watching this as a solar eclipse is happening. This is way cooler than that stupid moon. It's, well, this is gonna sound mean. I'm surprised at how consistently I laugh at these comments. Yeah, solar eclipse was great. I started playing Persona 3 Reload when I went out to see the eclipse. Didn't finish it, so it would not be on this list, but that was one of the coolest events of the year for sure. Definitely almost as cool as my video on Counter Spy. We started at game 366 and now we're at game 266. Wow, how cool is that? Yeah, I used to celebrate milestones a lot more earlier in the series. Also, this video is still titled Thanks Maxis. That was supposed to be a temporary title because he gave me the idea for the thumbnail, because I didn't like the original thumbnail I had for it. I guess it became a little more permanent than I intended it to. Mega Man! Yeah, N64. Really just a lot of sound design that came from outdated sound chips ended up being just really cool and iconic. Just creativity from limitations. I didn't expect it to be this low. Smash is one of those series, Animal Crossing is one of them too, where just sort of like the newer games just kind of replace the older games. So like, if Smash 64 was the only Smash game to ever release, then yeah, it'd be a lot higher probably. But I mean, why would you play 64? Why would you play 64? People are too focused on everything having deep lore and dark twists nowadays, but sometimes you gotta play something fun and shallow to appreciate the deep stuff more. Yeah, I can get behind that. And I don't even necessarily love deep lore or dark twists. Cool thing to say after I just talk about how much I love Star Wars. But yeah, it's interesting. You need the shallow stuff, the poppy stuff, the fun stuff, both because it amplifies your appreciation of the deep stuff, but also just sometimes that's the mood you're in. That's what your brain needs. You need that just sort of like complacent fluff. So it's interesting that like I need it. Sometimes I want it more than anything else, but even with that, it's not going to get higher than 262. It's rare for one of those lighter games to get higher on my list. I don't know if that's a human mind thing or a me thing. It's probably a me thing. Tons of people would say this is like one of their favorite games ever. Can we get some games with shorter names? I kind of think long names are really funny, and I'm kind of all for them, as stupid as they are. No, it isn't top 10. I'm glad people were excited about House Party. I get too excited about House Party, but I keep coming back to it. I can never get House Party out of my mind completely, for better or for worse. Wow, Proudly Idiotic, big fan of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I'm here for it. Love to see it. So, funny thing, I never played Mario Sports Mix. Even as a kid, I wasn't interested in it. Couldn't tell you why. I don't know why I decided what I liked and didn't like as a kid. But if you told me as a kid that Mario Sports Mix had the Final Fantasy characters, I think I would have got it. That's completely real and true. I loved them so much in Hoops. But I didn't know they were in it until, like, within the last 5 years. Like, in adulthood, I realized that Sports Mix had that. Ghost Peak, wow. Ghost Trick fan out in the wild. That's not something you see every day. This series is funny to me because you're technically saying that this small original Game Boy game is better than Guilty Gear Strive. Okay. As we get into, like, these, like, extra videos after the series is completed, I'm willing to, like, break my tone a little bit, because this is more like just casual and discussion based. And I want to say this because a lot of times I have the genuine feeling of, like, this should be higher, or this feels like a top 100 game or a top 10 game. So to balance that out a little bit, Guilty Gear Strive is too high. I would actually put it lower on the list. I don't even know if it is top 366 anymore. And I know it's because I'm mostly talking about base Strive. I haven't caught up with it. I'm going to dive back in once it's content complete. But yeah, I have no issue genuinely saying and believing and positing that Donkey Kong 1994 is a better game than Strive, at least for me and for what I want. I think I even talk about it later in the series, how, like, there was that whole era of simplifying fighting games that I really did not connect with. So I don't think that'd be too surprising for me to say that. See, I've heard nothing but outstanding words about this game. I should really give it a try. Donkey Kong 1994 might also be a little too high, but it is properly celebrated as one of the best Game Boy games, and it does deserve that. Outstanding might be a little strong. Wait. I played my brother's copy of Mario Kart DS as a kid and wanted it for myself so we could play together, so I got it for Christmas and lost it the same day before even taking the foil off the box? I mean, I want to know how that happens, but I assume you want to know how that happens even more. And, like, odds are you probably, like, moved it somewhere. I don't know if you're still in that house anymore, but that's... Like, did you have a dog that, like, ate garbage? That's crazy. What a game to lose. Oh no, unfortunately this will be the last thumbs up. We reached the end. Oh, I wonder what happened. But they were a soldier for a very long time. Great Ace Attorney took him out, number 233. I wonder what caused this, but it was fun while it lasted. I don't even need to click on this. I'm pretty sure, because people have sent it to me, where I say I love when Mario gets hard. I hadn't even thought of the double meaning. I probably, so, you know, I already said this in the postmortem. I write these things, I don't really have time to change them, so, like, I knew, but I didn't care enough to change it. People are free to have that kind of humor if that's what they feel like it is. And right after me talking about Mario be liking when Mario gets hard, your next comment is huge on Zero Ranger. Got us in the first half. I'm surprised and happy with how good my memory is, because I'm pretty sure I talked about Ball 3D at the beginning, which is what this is referring to. I usually say I don't have a very great memory, but just with context clues, you know, piece a lot together, I'm happy here. I am judging you for implying you no longer use tilt controls. Sometimes I'll turn them on to, like, feel it again, because I used to play that way. And yeah, I've now reached a point where I'm like, wow, I'm surprised and impressed that I could handily beat all of my friends using this control scheme back in the day. Another comment about tilt controls. If your me isn't constantly mentioning how they're using tilt controls or doing it wrong. Wow. I think this says a lot about my demographic. I got 2 comments about that. Why? Why is this one 4 minutes? Oh no, I wonder if you really disliked the top 10. Oh my gosh, and you gave me a description to read. I am eating today. Okay, no, so this is positive. You liked that it was 4 minutes long. Yeah, I forget. I think I talked about it in the description of the Fire Red video how my relationship with Pokemon is really complicated. So I need to take a more constructive and objective stance when I talk about it. Not even for the video sake, just for my mental sake. I need to be like, okay, why are these Pokemon games in the place they are? What do I genuinely like about them? Where do I think their value comes from? All those conversations. Because I can't just come out and be like, this game's great. I like it. It's fun to play. It's cool. It has to go a little deeper with Pokemon just because of how my brain is with this series. And somehow that brings us back into the thumbs up. I wonder, we paused for what, like 20 days? I hope you were okay in those 20 days. I hope you were on like a cool trip where you didn't have internet or something. I'm glad you're back though. Thank you for giving me credit for discovering that I play the yellow version of Taiko no Tatsujin, because that took a stupidly long amount of time to find. Could have been literally any version of the game and it would have placed in the exact same spot. It doesn't matter. Mirrors, what? You gotta play Catherine. If you're making this joke, you will love Catherine. I'm sorry, what? The thumbnail, the thumbnail tray, what? What? I'm going to assume this is an observation about that I put a red lightsaber in this thumbnail when before I just had the lightsabers be black. That's only a guess. I cannot decipher this word. Rehued thumbnail. Maybe that's supposed to be red thumb? I don't know. After taking some time to recover, I've decided that if there was an Emily lightsaber, it would be a crossguard lightsaber, but only with the parts on the side. So it'd just feel like a hammer. I've never thought about that before. That's awesome. Frankly, I'm shocked and delighted that you know that a crossguard lightsaber is a thing and that it's called a crossguard lightsaber. I don't know if that's from the omnipresence of lightsabers in our culture or if that's just you listening to me talk about Star Wars too much. Oh heck yeah, we got Medleypawn, a Melty Blood fan. That's awesome to see because I think this is the first time this person's commenting. And awesome that it's on a Melty Blood video. I don't have a lot of Melty Blood fans in my life. It's like so far away from what I usually engage with, but yeah, I think the series deserves so much more love than it gets. Punch-Out was the first game I saw someone else play that looked so instantly appealing that I ended up getting it for myself. I totally agree with what he said. Punch-Out just works. Please ignore the fact that I'm talking about Punch-Out Wii. I wonder how much higher Punch-Out NES would get if Punch-Out Wii never existed. Because it's another one of those cases. Like, Wii just outclasses it in every way. But yeah, NES, it's still one of the best NES games of all time in terms of aging well. If this was finished, you would have... If this was finished, you would have placed it higher, biased reviewer. If it... I'm still so sad about Spookware. Spookware was so good. Yeah, it'd be top 200 if it was finished. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to get sad again. Oh. So, Mr. or Mrs. Idiotic either doesn't like Persona 3, likes Persona 3, or this was just a reaction to the thumbnail change? Maybe it was a reaction to the thumbnail change. I have never been more angry in my entire life. This was planned from the beginning for the record, that it would change, I would change color at like big milestones. I did not expect it to get such a fervent and impassioned reaction. Bad game IMO, but everyone else likes it, so yeah, does everyone like it? I guess everyone likes it. But yeah, I get the sentiment. There's a lot of things in Celeste that I could see it not being someone's cup of tea. Oh, another one for Medleypawn. That's awesome. This is a top 10 favorite of mine. Glad to see it major top 200. Yeah, like it's one of those really bespoke things, right? And because it's bespoke, If it speaks to you, it's one of the greatest of all times. If it doesn't speak to you, it's not. And it's not about the quality of the game. It's just about it has a specific vibe, mood, objective. It's just a matter of if you're on board for that or not. And there's nothing wrong with being on board for it or not on board for it. CM Punk thumbnail? Googling CM Punk. CM Punk, American professional wrestler and actor. Well, what movies have you been in, Mr. Punk? Nothing I've seen. Very cool, very cool. Oh wow, the very first picture on Google Images. Yeah, I understand. You taught me something, and now I understand your reference. This is how we grow as humans and develop as a society. Thank you for allowing me to demonstrate that to people. Ego Death Todd. 2 superlatives. That's my Spider-Man. Hey, remember when a game getting a superlative was like cool and interesting, and when a game getting multiple superlatives was like a huge deal? Those were the days. I love the fact that arcade games are on here. Thank you for that. You're welcome. I do feel like a lot of people would leave arcade games off or forget arcade games, but I love going to arcades, period, even though it's like a really weird way to consume games, and like compared to like just buying a game, it's so expensive to keep putting in money. I don't even, what is this, Wii Sports Resort? We gotta, I'm learning, more than anyone, I'm learning about Proudly Idiotic as a human, just by the way they respond to the games I talk about, and it's interesting. It seems to be a big, like, Wii era, like, cartoony Nintendo fan. I think that's supported by, like, really liking Ghost Trick, but not really liking Danganronpa. Not to profile this individual too much, I should cut it out. Duality of Man, huge appreciation for a great DC Universe game, and Among Us. Coin Song made me cry today? I didn't play Coin Song in the Injustice video, did I? Was that just a complete non sequitur comment? That's okay, Coin Song makes me cry every day. His name is MC Ballyhoo, thank you. Okay, dude, Ego Death Todd, there's no way you just, like, know that because you're a huge fan of the lore. You just probably grew up on 50,000 Nintendo YouTubers who dropped that lore in your lap. No one actually... Okay, I'm just being insecure because I didn't know his name and I love this game. Or is it DJ Halle Boo? I'm not the one to ask, I don't know. But I love him. He's the guy with the funny hat, always will be. Emily staying up too late again. Hey, this is Pizza Dude Man. Oh, I sent some new people your way. That's very, very kind of you, Proudly Idiotic. Oh yeah, you'll cry a lot, I did. To the Moon, top 5 games that, like, most consistently make people cry, probably? Like, if you were to just, like, calculate everyone who's played the game and ask them, yes, no, did you ever cry? I think, for the games I know, I think this is, like, top 5 most consistent, like, getting people to cry. It's a good one. Need to play the rest. Wow, Melee down this low. Okay, and I think it's safe to say, I think I know this now. I think Proudly Idiotic is definitely from the Last Box coalition of viewers. So I get why it can be surprising when Melee, or any Smash game, gets this low, but same deal. Why would I play Melee in 2024? There's the one reason. But even if I'm gonna give in to that one reason, which isn't really my speed anyway, for me, I'm playing Project M. I'm not even playing Melee. I talk about this in the Final Fantasy VI video. I'm not the kind of guy to be like, oh, it was really important, or it was really good at the time, or historically significant. That's not my speed for a personal ranking like this, so I'm just like, do I want to play Melee today? The answer is no. I never want to play Melee. I think it controls weird. I think the characters look weird. But it laid a lot of awesome foundation, and I appreciate, like, the nostalgia of that. And wow, okay, another super deep cut Blast Box reference, my goodness. I don't even think I said the name Blast Box once in the entire series. Wow, is 3D Land your favorite Mario game? That's fascinating. Please expound on this sometime. This is super interesting. First time in my life I've heard someone say that about 3D Land, and I'm not knocking it or hating it. I think 3D Land's great, and I can maybe take some guesses as to why that is. But yeah, super cool. Love to see that. I could start a literature club where instead of reading books, we watch Jason Boxman videos and only meet up for like 2 minutes every day. I think that'd be kind of fun. It's like a little like loot box of a social engagement, because you come in and you watch like a 2-minute video, and if no one's played it, it's like, all right, it was only 2 minutes long, let's go enjoy the rest of our day. But if you have played it, then it's like it turns into like a 30-minute to hour-long discussion about not only what I talked about, but what you guys think. So it's like you walk into a room and you're like, we're either about to spend like 2 minutes together or 2 hours together. I don't know. That's probably not actually how it would go. This game actively changed my psyche for a good while. It should not have come out when I was in high school. I would love for you to expound on that too, but that's a little heavier than why you like Mario 3D Land. But that's awesome to hear, and it seems like it has that impact on a lot of people. It hit me in college, which is probably a little more optimal than high school in terms of not emotionally destroying you. But I had I'm gonna call it weeks, I think, where it was just like a part of my emotional state. Like, it wasn't like changing what I was doing in my day to day, but I was thinking about it and I was living it, and it was, I think, enjoyable, as weird as that is to say. Mega Man! So true, Ego Death Todd, you're so smart. If it's the classic to end all classics, I better not see a single other NES game on this list. Classic doesn't mean favorite, and I know you know that. Oh my goodness, a conversation for Crosstag. I bought the game for Persona and stayed for years on end for the fun factor and great roster. This game also introduced me to French Bread through the Under Night cast. They've since become my favorite fighting game. Devs BB Tag is overhated and I'll always love it. Hey, this is one of my favorites too. The channel talks about a new game every single day, so they make sure to stay tuned for the rest. I already am. Wow! Thank you, Emily, for the promo and the press. I appreciate that a lot, and thank you, Medley Pawn. Are you the one who was you were the big Melty Blood fan? Yeah, I'd have to think about it if French Bread is my favorite fighting game dev, but they're in the running. And yeah, BB Tag is so overhated because it's not really viable competitively. It's not like a FGC kind of game, but I love it for the crossover element and because it's so casual and fun. But I love it because it's like the traditional 2D fighting game I can turn on no matter who's in the room, and everyone's gonna be able to like figure it out and get going and have fun and do combos pretty quickly. And not to say you can't enjoy it competitively, I certainly do too, but just the fact that I can play it with anybody and it's a fighting game, that's awesome. I was surprised how low it got, honestly. The Block-a-Block game, gotta represent there. Big moment for this series, we're getting real deal meta commentary. Also, I have watched all of these. They start my morning off well. I'm gonna go make breakfast now. Bye, Samus. Thank you for the compliment. So what was I talking about in this that was getting meta? You know, it's funny how a big countdown like this works. We're over halfway done at this point. I don't know how long this series is time-wise, but I would guess the term feature length wouldn't be inappropriate. If you've watched the whole thing up to this point, first of all, thank you. Oh my goodness. Second, maybe you're starting to think that you have a decent understanding of my taste in games. You've heard me talk about near... Okay, yeah, I see what I'm getting at. It's funny that I was talking about how long the series is when we're like about halfway done, and this is before the videos were starting to be like 3 minutes long on average. So this, not only does this feel like ancient history to me because of how long ago this is, but I bet if you lined the whole series up and marked where this was in the time code, you're probably like 25% of the way done watching at this point, and I'm already being like, we've had some times together. This is my favorite fighting game, hands down. That's awesome. I wish I got more time with Type Lumina. Another one that I think both doesn't get the credit it deserves, and I think a lot of the criticisms towards it are fairly unfounded. If I were... I talk about this subject a weirdly high amount of times, but if I were more inclined to like anime stuff, I think this would be so much higher. Like Under Night. Under Night kind of cheats because it has like the whole like neon urban thing going for it that I like so much. But yeah, Melty Blood, outstanding. I hope that series never dies. I'm glad you did this one. I love video games. Hi. The next comment I read from you, I'm not gonna laugh at. That's my goal now. The Wampa surrendered peacefully, and you still shot him to death, you monster. Hats off to you for knowing the term Wampa. Very proud of you. And they're like the most fun thing to kill in that game, because you have to just unload on them. Like I don't know if anything in gaming makes my fingers hurt more than taking down a Wampa in Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. Wow, we all got that gun show in us, and then right above it, we got the gun show. I know that game, yeah. Another great example, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, such a great game, defining game for the generation. Just the sequels are so much better that it really beats down on this poor game. That isn't Mario. Wow, okay, so it looks like Mr. Roboto started catching up on the series about 5 months ago. Hey, I actually played this one. That's great. I said it in the post-mortem. Friday Night Funkin', that most recent update was amazing. It's gonna do so much better if I ever do this again. I downloaded this game before you could finish your sentence about me wanting to play the game. That's awesome if that's true. I love hearing that. Everyone go play Window Frame. It's just so cool and novel, and you can beat it in 30 minutes. And it's a great thumbnail. Yay, Mega Man, hooray. Oh, you're gonna be happy. Ball 3D, sweet baby. So positive. You're such a joyful force in the world, Mr. Roboto. I love this. In my defense, Mr. Roboto, you are correct. You are objectively correct. In my defense, when I talked about Friday Night Funkin' in this series, we were in that phase where it kind of seemed like the developers spent all their Kickstarter money on weed. So I thought maybe it was kind of finished. But you are right, and I'm surprised I didn't think about that in the moment. I love that people are relating to my Pokemon choices. Avalugg, Hawlucha still remain. Like, they like me. They make me like Pokemon more just for existing. Binging the series up to this point in one night was totally worth it. I found out so many cool games I want to try and many Star Wars games I just can't care about. Sorry if that last part sounded mean. It didn't. Also, Counter-Spy not being on Steam is a shame. Counter-Spy has had a lot of distribution troubles that I wish didn't happen. I've known for a long time that for whatever reason, the sector of the gaming community that I seem to appeal to and reach is not like it's not the Star Wars kind of people, and I don't know if I can put that into words here. I don't even want to attempt to put it into words because I don't want to overgeneralize too much, but I've known that. That's really interesting since Star Wars is like my favorite thing ever, and I think it's safe to say most like core gamers are probably Star Wars fans, otherwise Star Wars games wouldn't be one of the most successful series ever. But I totally... Again, I'm not going to try and generalize in this video, but I've known for like as long as I've made videos that like the people who watch me tend to like some very different things from what I like. And I've never quite figured out why, but I also don't care and I don't really need it to change. I like the people I have. I like you guys. Is that pandery enough? I didn't mean for it to be. Rip, Toadsworth had a heart attack at the baseball field. Oh, I love so much love for Mario Super Sluggers. I need that to come back. Most underrated channel on YouTube, my goodness. Semi-WNT. I probably didn't say that right, but I hope I got close. Thank you. That's so kind. Wow, 10 to knock? I remember that name, but I haven't seen that name around in years, I feel like. Probably because I haven't been posting a lot or reading comments a lot, but I remember that name. Good to see you again. And I'm glad someone appreciated Boxman Top 10, because I appreciate it, even though it wasn't really worth the effort. Very glad to see that. Thank you very much. I'm gonna heart that. Insane timing. Yep. Probably the best timing of the entire show. Also, Paper Mario, my last N64 game being number 64 was pretty good too, but I think Pokemon takes the cake. Been watching this list since March-ish, but never got around to commenting till now. Just wanted to say, I really love this series, that's all. Oh, and New Super Mario Bros. Rules. Drewski Rose. That's so nice. I don't even know how to respond to that. This video is going to reveal how bad I am at taking compliments, if that wasn't already obvious. I hope this continued to be true. I hope all the people who liked this series, at this point, continued to like it into the top hundreds and top tens when the videos were getting longer. I did worry if like the really just instant consumable low stakes nature of these videos was kind of going to get ruined, and once it became like a commitment of like, oh, I gotta sit here for 10 minutes and listen to this guy talk, if maybe that element would go away and it would lose some of the appeal. Maybe that happened, I don't know yet. I haven't gotten to those comments, but oh my goodness, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. You know, I hear a lot of people say Mario Kart Wii is better or the best in the series. Once again, proudly idiotic, being a big fan of Wii era Mario. I get it, I am too. But yeah, I know that like competitive people really like Mario Kart Wii, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I'm surprised how often that one's called the best in the series. But I don't knock it, I'm fine with that. Easily one of my most played games. It makes sense to me why this got support for so long, because honestly, it feels like this is just what Nintendo wanted Mario Kart to be. I kind of, this is too big of a discussion to get into right now, but if Mario Kart 8's the last Mario Kart and they just add on to it forever, zero complaints from me. I'm fine with that. Persona, if it was good. Oh yeah, I forgot to add Trauma Center in the Atlas Games countdown. There's so many mistakes. I shouldn't say so many mistakes, but there's a lot of mistakes in Boxman Top 10, and not including Trauma Center was one of them. But Trauma Center is outstanding. I wish Atlas made more short games like it. I tend to really like them. I knew this. I'd seen this in my peripheral, that at a point Proudly Idiotic switched to start guessing the games based on the thumbnail, which I thought was so fun, and I haven't seen any of them. So I'm so excited to see what your guesses are, what your track record is. So you started on a 136 with a thumbnail that is... It's a good one to start on because it's both super obvious because there's like 4 people here and they're kind of clearly fighting gamey, but also not obvious at all because they're pretty generic silhouettes. But yeah, you got it. KOF maybe, something SNK. You got the 4 heroes of KOF, of the KOF saga here. That's a big thing with 15. It was the first time every KOF hero was in one game together. Kirby, nailed it. DKC, nailed it. It's that one specific Cowboy Mario image used in that Country Road Let's A Go video. No idea which game. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm gonna refrain this time. Country Roads Let's A Go. Sounds like a music thing. I don't do music, I do video games. Mario Party 2 is great. Guess anime visual novel or something. I was technically right. I don't think you were. I'm not gonna give you that one, Mr. or Mrs. Idiotic. It's not anime. There's like no visual novel elements. It's just Japanese. Are all Japanese games the same to you? I do get it though, because it's very plain looking and there's like a little girl, so it's a very visual novel setup. Favorite Kirby game. 134 games are better than every Kirby game. Unsubscribed, unfollowed, reported, CC'd to federal agents. I haven't played a lot of Kirby games. Although I do think I've played a lot of the good ones. I have no defense other than repeating some talking points I've already done about preferring more complex games. What I will say is, in my like personal life and like my quote unquote real life, I've never met like a diehard Kirby guy. I know tons of Kirby fans, but I don't know like a Kirby guy or a Kirby girl, and I'm sure they exist. The thought of someone being a hardcore Kirby fan, like I've played every game, I know all the lore, it's the most hype reveal at the Nintendo Directs. I've never met that person, and the thought of that person is like kind of weird to me. Yeah, Wii Party U, so close. I've never played Wii Party U. I know that TV guy from a Nintendo game of some description. That's Monita, and she should have been in Smash. Thank you so much for the happy birthday, Medley Pawn. I had a very, very happy 25th birthday. One of my favorite birthdays in recent years. We got a Star Wars game on his birthday, and a Lego Star Wars game. And like Lego Star Wars was like one of the best things that a little Jason could get on his birthday. It was perfect. The only Star Wars thing that's worth a darn. Also, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Love the Lego Star Wars love. Wow, this is funny. One of my favorites of all time. Yeah, no kidding. It's not the exact same render, but it's dang close. Hey, Dragon Quest IV, it's not a horrible guess given the context. I can give you a quarter point on that one. I love the simplicity of when Ego Death Todd chimes in, because like, he's one of our more infrequent commenters, and when he does, it's just so pure. It's just like, this game's awesome. This game is awesome. I could play this game. This could be the only game I play for the rest of my life. I'd love it the whole way. I guess that's Mega Man and Proto Man. Do we give it up on that one? That's not even guessing the game. It's just like, hey, I know those silhouettes. As the Smash guy and his final Smash. This is crazy, and I shouldn't be saying this on camera. Proudly Idiotic guessed MVC again. It says bro put MVCI over MVC2. I did this before the MVC2 collection came out. So now I've played a good bit of Marvel 2, like way more than I ever could at the arcades, and I can appreciate it more because it's like in a quiet space just in my room. It's not in a loud arcade. I think Infinite's better for like me personally, and I think it's a lot better for me personally. I think the gap between them is like growing, and that's not a knock on 2. It's just that Infinite gives me more of what I want mechanically and in the gameplay. So not only is it still above 2, but it's a bigger gap than it used to be. Good job calling out Apollo Justice specifically. I've been going through some really hard times lately and watched some of these Jason Boxman videos to cope. They didn't help, but at least Apollo Justice is here. You were so good at me not knowing where the genuine begins and where the joke begins. But thanks for watching, and I'm sorry it didn't help. I like Apollo. This is just a series of 3 funny guesses to me. Prime Hunters. I haven't played it. I need to. I feel like that'd be a weird one to have at 118, but I will play it one day. Sci-fi FPS for the Xbox 360. Couldn't be further away from the kind of stuff I play, but I do get it looking at that thumbnail. And thinking Link is Fiora is pretty hilarious. Especially, this is like the coolest Link ever. To be saying that's Fiora is very funny. TIE Fighter and X-Wing Star Wars Squadrons, or some... Wow, good job, Proudly Idiotic. You crushed it. Way to go. I wouldn't have thought people could call that one. I don't even need to guess that. The higher you get in the list, the more obvious a lot of the thumbnails started to get. Oh, bad game alert. Our first overtly negative comment in so long. I am gonna predict that the era of it being cool to dislike Overwatch will not be the permanent legacy of the game. I don't know when the flip's gonna happen, but eventually it's gonna hit that like legacy long-term stride of this was just like one of the great multiplayer shooters of the era. I don't know how long it's gonna take for us to get there. That's not an Overwatch thing. I think most things that go through like strong love or hate phases ultimately settle out into love in the end. Show bringing it back with the good game alert. I wonder if that's a theme for show. How far apart were these two? 3 days apart. This was an interesting stretch here. We went from Dual Destinies to DR1 to Ace Attorney 1. I'm glad you guys are agreeing so much. Just like another one, just like, good game. Nice. I agree. I miss the old Jason straight from the go Jason. Chop up the vids Jason said on his... Oh, this is like a poem or like a song. I hate the new Jason, the short vids Jason, the end cards Jason always uploads. What the drinking water Jason? Wait, okay, I need... This has like depth now. I need to like pay attention to this. It sounds like someone who likes Blastbox. And Blastbox is not dead, contrary to all available evidence. Tifa Lockhart. Sure, I can see how you would think that's Tifa. The guy from SMT Strange Journey. I don't even know who that is or who you could be talking about, but that could not be further from Bioshock 2. That's really funny. So this is really silly. I can't believe this is happening. But it's relieving. This is proof. This is evidence of what I said, that I'm really content with this channel just kind of being whatever I want it to be, uploading whatever I want and not caring if it's like bad content or suboptimal or just weird or silly. I say all this because I think I have to make this 2 videos. I have to save top 100 comments for a separate video. I've been recording for like an hour and a half. I don't know how long this is gonna be. Way too long. But I don't want to release like an hour-long video like this. So, tomorrow video on the top 100? Is that cool? Is that cool with you? Is this entertaining to watch? Doesn't matter either way, because it's what I'm gonna do. See you tomorrow.